Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I'm your host, Astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. The image you see on the screen is Minister Malcolm X, born Malcolm Little. He transformed the name to El Haj Malik Al Shabazz. But I think to most people, especially in the Harlem community, he will always be known as Minister Malcolm X. Anyway, there's a reason I'm going to dedicate part of the show to him. He would have turned 100 years old today, born on May 19th, this day of 1925. So this is a day in Harlem for which normally, as a rule, there are busloads that go to cemetery to visit and just pay respect for a man that really transformed a lot of things. But anyway, let me do this before I am on. There we go. All righty. Yes. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Before I get to it, there's going to be I'm going to be focusing on some other things too. People who had wrote in about their who they look like or things like that. So I wanted to finish that up in all fairness because there were so many people that responded to I was born on this day, born this day. And I said, okay, let me see if I can do that. Let's see if I look at my notes. But in the meantime, let me say this, though. Numbers in You is being sponsored by U-Juice, beautiful Caribbean African drink. You go to Levitt Store, LIVETSTORE, and this is where you will find, you get your juices there. As straight from the Trinidad and Tobago, and it is beautiful, refreshing drinks. And for those of you who came out yesterday, I was at Nicholas, Brooklyn, where they're celebrating over 50 years of being in business. I met so many nice people, which I thank you very, very much. The kindness you shared. It was good to see Monique and Kafunya and Hank Rosenson. Those are my three partners, I should say, when I go there. And of course, Monique's beautiful daughter, Nicole, who is an Aries, March to 26. And they're at 1396 Fulton Street. Tell them, please, that Lloyd Strayhorn said hi, whatever. And, you know, I was going to say you'll get a discount, but actually, quiet as this kept, you're going to get a discount anyway. Then there is Miss Kimberly with Manifest on Purpose, who has a regular podcast twice a week, plus she has the weekly wisdom, and she's also branched out into providing astronumerical services for businesses. So if you want to get your business or consulting, it is absolutely no charge initially. It's kind of like a way of introducing for her to help you help yourself. And if you decide you want to go further, fine. In light of all determinations, I'm sure some are going to step out on faith and start their own businesses. And if so, it would be a good time for you to take advantage of her free offer and tap in. Also to Numerologics with Queen Bee with Numbers Matter. And in fact, after my show this evening, she's going to also feature something on Minister Malcolm X. This will be today at 8:30. So it'll be a half hour after I sign off. So please go to her website right there and see it and see what she has. I'm sure she's going to have some insight. I'm just going to touch on some things. There was a lot, but I'll explain my part. I'm going to show you some of the books that for those of you who would like to go further into this really giant, for which I would call at the time. And this way you can see it here. All right. But before we get started, let me tell you about the forecast today. It is Monday, May 19th. And I think I got everything right this time. Sun is in Taurus, Moon is in Aquarius. It's a 5 universal month, an 8 universal week. It's a 6 universal day. So for those under Taurus, under Libra, and those that are born on the 6th, the 15th, and the 24th of the month, well, it is your day. Now, let me tell you briefly about this gentleman. I should have put it on a separate screen, but I'll put it like this. Minister Malcolm X was born in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, on May 19th today of 2025. In fact, let me put this up. This will help you too. Okay. This is showing his date. And what I did was I put down his month, day, and year, which is his destiny number, as they call it. Oops, I see I made an error. It should have been 23, not 14, not 14.5. But anyway, what you do is to determine what grade you are in the school of life, your life path, your destiny, whatever the case is. What you do is you put the month and day you're born and the year you're born, add your columns down, add it across, and it should have been obviously 23, not 14. But nonetheless, 23 and 2 plus 3 is 5, 1 plus 4 is 5. But it simply means the journey that we take. We all have a mission. It's like determining, as I put it, what grade are you in the school of life? Because when people understand that concept, they know how to kind of know what their mission, what their purpose is, why they are here. Because they're at times that all of us have asked, why am I here? His key numbers, the 1, 4, and 9. His best days was on Sunday and Tuesdays. And his key months was always in February, April, August, and November primarily. On the day of his assassination at the Audubon Ballroom in Harlem on 165th Street, as you see, it was on February the 21st of 1965. And therefore, if you look at how it added up to a 26, and 2 plus 6 equals 8. It was an 8 universal day. And what I should have done was also explain to you that he had a key numbers. His key numbers are there, but his stress numbers was always the 6 and the 8. And let me say this for what it's worth, because being a product of Harlem, Malcolm X was to Harlem like what Martin Luther King was. Well, I should say this way. Malcolm X was to the North what Martin Luther King was to the South. In the South, it was turn the other cheek. In the North, it wasn't happening. Trust me. That wasn't going to happen. That was the mindset of people that came from the North. It was just that simple. The one thing that both men's fathers had in common, Martin Luther King's father, Malcolm X's father, they were both Garveyites. Okay? And that was Marcus Mosiah Garvey, born on August the 17th. When he came to Harlem in 1916, his first speech that he gave in New York City was in the village of Harlem. Okay. In fact, there's a plaque not too far from me, about 3 or 4 blocks away from me. There's a plaque on a Catholic school that says it was on this day in 1916 where he spoke. Where it's very interesting because 1916 is as of the 17th, which is his date of birth. Okay. This is Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So both men were inspired by Marcus Garvey. That is Malcolm X's father and Martin Luther King's father was both inspired by Marcus Garvey. Okay. And so if you ask your elders or grandparents or whatever, they will tell you a lot of them were what called Garveyites. All right. A lot of them belong to the UNIA, which is Universal Negro Improvement Association. In fact, the publishing company, or at least it published the magazines that came out on a weekly or monthly basis, was literally right around the corner from where I presently live. So, and in fact, on 135th Street near the pier was the Black Star Line, just as J.P. Morgan, who was born on the 17th of April, had the White Star Line. Well, Marcus Garvey, when he came to Harlem, had the Black Star Line. It was selling stock. I'm willing to bet you, if you look to some of your ancestors, your elders in the community, even some that may have passed on and looked through their papers, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't find some UNIA stock certificates for the Black Star Line. But nonetheless, both these men, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, were major during the 60s. And it's so interesting that since 6 is the opposition number to the United States, that they both were assassinated in the 60s. Malcolm X in 1965, Martin Luther King in 1968. But nonetheless, these were men that really changed the whole feeling. And it's so interesting because when these men were living, they were demonized. I mean, they were branded the worst of the worst. yet upon their death, upon their death, and now all these years later, now they're recognized for the great work they did, okay? But believe me, when they were really trying to raise the consciousness of not just Black people, but of this nation, that's where the difference came in. And so, and it's interesting because who did Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X have in common as their nemesis? It was J. Edgar Hoover of the FBI, who was born on January the 1st. He was the one that undermined Marcus Garvey, undermined Malcolm X, undermined Martin Luther King, okay? And supposedly undermined Robert Kennedy Sr. and a couple other people of note. So who knows? But anyway, and by the way, all you got to do is read J. Edgar Hoover's biography. You'll see that too. Anyway, all I'm saying is that this is a time when we all should give reflection. And what I've done is, because there's a lot to it, and I want to really reach out to many of the people that commented last week, because I have your dates and whatnot for people who said, and I said, well, I'll keep my promise and see, who do you look like? You look like your mom or dad, or just look like by yourself, okay? But some of the books, in fact, this was the first book that came out that brought the attention to 60 Minutes, okay? When the Word is Given. And it talked about him and the Nation of Islam, because once he got out of prison, it was, in fact, while he was in prison, that the FBI started taking notes on Malcolm X in 1950 when he was in prison. Why? He wrote a letter to Harry S. Truman talking about opposing the Korean War, okay? That's when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August the 5th and 6th of 1945. He wrote a thing protesting the whole thing about it, and that's when he got into the files of the FBI, all right? But this was the book here, all right? And to show you, this is the book, Malcolm X, the FBI Files. Over 500 pages, folks. They kept records on him for a while. So this is to let you know. So all these books are available. So for those of you who want to do your own research, okay, then this book here was by the maker of Malcolm X, the movie, with Spike Lee, all right? What's interesting is I played a little bit part in that movie too. I was one of the Fruit of Islam, which is the brothers, the military arm of the Nation of Islam that defended the sisters as well as the brothers. Well, in that movie, I think I was 2 days on the set making this movie with Denzel Washington. And you know what's interesting is this. The man who looked exactly like Malcolm in that movie, Malcolm X, was Denzel Washington. Now, what do they both have in common? Both of them were number ones. Malcolm X was born on the 19th. Denzel Washington was born on the 28th. 2 + 8 is 10. Malcolm X came under an earth sign, and Denzel Washington came under the earth sign of Capricorn. So when he came for his audition, he had rehearsed and looked the part and was hired right on the spot right away. So my part was in the Fruit of Islam, and I guess 2 days on the set. And by the time I saw it, mine was about maybe 2.3 seconds. Okay, you had to. This is when you had to freeze the screen, say, "There I am." Okay, but it was interesting doing this movie, or being a part of this movie. For me, it was very historic because we all had a love for Malcolm X in Harlem, because he spoke on many of the corners in Harlem, especially on 125th Street and Lenox Avenue, on 116th Street and Lenox Avenue, and Michaud's bookstore that was located on the corner of 125th Street and 7th, that's now known as the Harlem State Office Building at 163 West 125th Street, okay? But that's where he spoke. He spoke it there many times. This is another one by John Henry Clark, a historian that I had the pleasure of knowing, who wrote Malcolm X, The Man and His Times. These are books that you should get so you can get into this, because even if I had an hour to dedicate fully to him, it really wouldn't do the man justice. And when he made his trip to the Middle East and came back as El-Hajj El-Malik El-Shabazz, this was the book that transformed it. It illustrated the influence of Islamic faith and his international experience among the political vision. He also woke a lot of African brothers up too. Nkrumah, Lumumba, you know what I'm saying? Kenyatta, a lot of them. Now, this is when he spoke at Harvard, believe it or not. These are his speeches that was taking place there at Harvard. This book here is The Last Speeches. All these books are available, I do believe, on Amazon. All right. So just to go and just check these things out for yourself. And well, I have a lot of books, but I'm gonna just show you one more. And this is Malcolm X Make It Plain. In other words, when he would speak at the lecture halls and at the temple of the Nation of Islam temple on 116th to 7th Avenue, when you would hear him speak, they says, make it plain. That's what the brothers would say, make it plain, because he broke it down. And in fact, at one time, I don't know whether they'll have it again, but one time there was stamps made out of, there was Malcolm X stamps. All right. They wouldn't have made it while he was living though. But anyway. And then one more thing I'll show you, which is one of his personal photographers, Ronald Haggins, that did this. And this is one he personally gave to me. This was in 1992. And he says, remember Malcolm, remember Malcolm, May 19th, 1925 through February the 21st, 1965. Okay. And he was the first secretary. And that's a beautiful shot of Minister Malcolm too. All right. So anyway, I'm very blessed to be born in the North. Okay, because the mindset was, no, you ain't gonna hit me, and I have some consequences. But that was the Nation of Islam, and that was the mindset. And I think it's still true too. You bring that stuff north, okay? Somebody's gonna get their feelings hurt, and it's not bad. It's just like, why would you treat people less than human? I mean, for people who's supposed to be superior, you'd think they'd act in a way that represents being superior. But anytime you got to put somebody on your knees, I'm not impressed with that. Anyway, now that I've got that off the way, I'm going to look at some comments. One is from Marla, Jennifer, Anna Melvin, A Rose. A rose is still a rose. Mary Jane, Keenan Harris Martinez, Seductive 4648, Kim Riley, and Aurelia Toya. Okay, so let me start with the first one. Okay, now for those who may not understand, the last week and a half I said the topic came up because a mother wrote in the comment page that, well, this was my birthday, which is 369, and her son's numbers was 639. So that says, because I discovered something on my own that I haven't seen in the books, that you can tell who you look like. Why? All you got to do is get the birthday of the person you're speaking to. Just ask the birthdays of the parents, and based upon the number patterns, which you'll see, they will tell you who looks like who. And in fact, I got a nice comment last week of a gentleman. He gave me his parents' birthday. I told him that based upon it, that they had August in common, that they got married somewhere around February, April, and August. And he wrote a comment later in the comment section saying that he happened to be watching with his dad, and his dad told him he and his mother did marry in the month of August. So this stuff is great. And that's why, in fact, my course is on sale too. Okay, let me put this up. Where is it? Where is it? I hope I did it. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. My course is on sale until Wednesday or Thursday. Notice all of them are less than $10 each, $9.99. Okay, so for $30 plus a little change. And if you notice, folks, this is the only time I will promote it, not when it's at its full price, although I would love to get it at the full price. I would love to. But this way, there is no excuse not to have this esoteric knowledge under your belt. Please. As you see there, two of them are bestsellers. And one of them was under a category for a while, but they've always very good. The responses, the reviews are very good. All you got to do is go to Linktree / numbers in you, and just sign up for the courses there. Linktree, Numbers in You, and sign up for the course and learn this, because everything you do in numbers. Don't believe me? Give me your uh, password number. Give me your passport number. Give me your driver's license number. Give me your social security number. Give me your birthday number. Everything now is predicated. If for those of you who have debit and credit cards, for example, if you're making a transaction, more than likely they will send you a code to your phone with your numbers that confirm that whether that is you or not. Okay. They even now include what your zip code is too, just in case, what your CVV number is on the back of your debit or credit card, just in case. So numbers have a profound effect in the world of finances, but astrologically and metaphysically speaking, in the world of the esoteric, numerology even plays a deeper role because it allows you to be in the right place at the right time, in harmony with this universe, and how to time things that go on in your life. So you're in the right place at the right time, because everybody's heard about the reverse. So with that being said, I'm going to start with Marla. Marla was born on June the 5th, and so Marla's numbers are the 5, the 6, and the 9. Marla, if you're there, her dad is born on April the 28th, which makes him a Taurus. His numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. Okay. Then her mom is born on July the 3rd, which is a 3, 2, and 7. So the one number she does have in common is with her father, which is a 9. Her daughter, by the way, Marla's daughter, is born on May the 12th. Her daughter's numbers are the 3, 6, and 9. So since Marla's daughter's got 2 of her numbers, because the mom's numbers are the 5, 6, and 9, the daughter's numbers are 3, 6, and 9. So since the mom and the daughter, so I would say, yes, she may look like her father, but her mother your daughter looks just like you, Marla. That's all I can say. All right. Speaking of that, when I talked about Malcolm X, born on the 19th, Dr. Betty Shabazz, that I had the pleasure of meeting, knowing, and actually working with her at Inner City Broadcasting Corporation here in New York City, was born on the 28th of May. So both of their numbers, see, here's the beauty of what I'm saying with the astrology. Malcolm X was born on the 19th of May. His wife, Betty Shabazz, or Dr. Betty Shabazz, as I refer to her, was born on the 28th of May. What's the difference? The similarity is that both he and his wife, Dr. Betty Shabazz, were number 1s. The difference is he was a Taurus and she came on the other side of Gemini. So it's just like that combination of Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. She's born on the 18th, which is a 9 in September. He's born on the 25th of September, which is in the sign of Libra, which is a 7. So this is why when I tell people about their months, I'll name your months and then I'll go back and say that's late so-and-so into the month that you're talking about. Late so-and-so into the month I'm talking about. So those are the things that are interesting. Now, Jennifer S., if you're there, you said you were born April the 7th, which means your numbers are the 7, 2, and 6. Your mother's numbers are November the 6th are the 6, 9, and 3. Your dad, who is born on September the 30th, his numbers are the 3, 6, and 9. So both your mom and your dad have the 3, 6, and 9 in a common. They had those were the common numbers between them. So I would say, based upon that you would look the number that you have in common between your mom and your dad is the number 6. So that means to me is one day you look a little bit like them, one day you look a little bit like your dad, or you go to family reunion and say, how your daddy doing? Another time they say, how your mother doing? And that may happen. But I would say you look at both. But I got to be honest. Jennifer, you got a personality and a look all your own, to be honest with you. Now, Anna Melvin, she's born on April the 26th, which is a Taurus. Your numbers are the 8, the 6, and the 3. Your dad is born on April 17th. His numbers are the 8, the 6, and the 3. And your mom is born on March the 2nd, which means her numbers are the 2, 7, and 3. So you got 2 of your father's numbers, which is the 6 and the 3, and you only got 1 of your mother's numbers, which is a 3. So that tells me that more than likely you might act like your mom. You know, it's interesting. A person will tell me, well, you know, I look just like my father, but everybody says I act like my mother. Yeah, well, you got two of your father's numbers versus only 1 of your mother's. So I would say you would lean more towards your dad in terms of looks, dispositions, mannerisms, etc. Okay. A rose is still a rose. She's born May 18th, which meant your birthday was yesterday. So happy belated birthday to you, young lady. Okay, her numbers are the 9, 6, and 3. Her dad is born on the 4, 1, and 5. And her mother's numbers is January 16th, which is means 7, 2, and 8. So actually, it tells me a rose is still a rose. You got a look on your own. You know what I'm saying? Yours would be totally different. Although your father is born in the sign of Libra, but he's born on a 4. So I wouldn't give him the 4, 1, and 6. I'd give him the 4, 1, and 5 in its place. I turn the 6 into a 5. So if anything, closest would have been your dad in that way. But your mother's a straight up Capricorn. So she's earth and water. Your father's fire, air and air, and you are earth and fire. So anyway, that's what I see. All right, Mary Jane, I got a couple of more. Mary Jane, you're born on December the 11th. So your numbers are the 2, 7, and 3. Your mom is born on May the 2nd, and her numbers are the 2, 7, and 6. And your dad is born on June the 14th. All right, his numbers are the 5, 6, and 9. You have 2 of your mother's numbers, so I'm going to wage my best that you look like your mother, act like your mother, think like your mother when you go to reunions. That's the first. It's not they don't love your father, but like, yo, how's your mama doing? You know how we do in the South, okay? So then there's Keenan Harris Martinez. He's born on Keena. I don't know whether he or she. So they are born on October the 29th, and their numbers are the 7, 2, and 6. The mom is born on June the 27th. Her numbers are the 6, 3, and 9. Your father is born on October the 8th. His numbers are the 8, 6, and 3. So this would be interesting because in both cases, you got a 6 from your mom and your dad too. So that would tell me there'll be times where you either looking like your mom on that side or looking like your father on this side. So that's how I see that. All right. Seductive 4648, born on May the 1st of 1970. Your mom, so your numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. Okay. This is how I'm able to determine once I have the client in front of me, once I establish the numbers, this is what me and all the numerologists I know and that learn from me, we establish what your numbers are first. Once we do that, we can tell whether you look like this person over here or that person over there. All righty. And so your numbers are 1, 4, and 9. That means you don't take no stuff. Your mother don't take no stuff either because her numbers are the 9, 6, and 3. Your dad's numbers are the 3, 6, and 9. I would say, since both you and your mom are Tauruses, you would take more of the leanings toward your mom. Okay, I could be wrong, but this is my research because I'm working on a book, and this will kind of bring something to numerology that I haven't seen in other numerology books, and I got a boatload of them too. So Kim Kyla, you're born on July 31st. Your numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. Your mom is born on March 19th, which means your mom is the 1, 4, and 3. And then your dad is born on the 14th of July. His numbers are the 5, 2, and 7. So since I'm looking at the parents, and your mother got a 1 and a 4, and you got a 4 and a 1, and you ain't got none of your father's numbers. These not your dad's. These are, people something else. So I'm just saying, I don't mean it's your father, but I'm saying to me, out of 3 numbers, you got 2 of your mother's. Out of 3 numbers, you have none of your father's numbers. Okay. So that tells me either look like your mom, think like your mom, or whatever. And you know how sometimes a parent get upset, girl, you just like your mother. Girl, you just like your father. You know what I'm saying? So, and finally, the last one is Aurelia Toyer, who is born on April the 12th. Your numbers are the 3, 9, and 6. Your mother is born on December the 27th. Her numbers are the 9, 8, and 6. And your dad is born on June the 4th. His numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. You got 2 of your mother's numbers. So I'm definitely going to say Aurelia. You definitely got your mother's. And it's so interesting because you are a fire number. Your mother is a fire number and very ambitious, and your dad is air. So anyway, that was it. I just wanted to make sure I did that. And somebody told me about answering questions for the website. The app, the Numerology Star 8 app that I have, and perhaps I'll do that later on. But anyway, I just wanted to pay homage of recognizing, because let me tell you, this gentleman was very impactful. Minister Malcolm X was very impactful on the Harlem community. He got a lot of people off pork. He got a lot of people off drinking and smoking. Okay. See, these are the things they don't talk about, all the positives that he's done. He founded Muhammad Speaks newspaper, and he copied that from Jehovah's Witnesses that would knock on doors and sell their papers. That's where he got the idea to start Muhammad Speaks. So even to this day, decades after his death, there's still brothers in the nation who are selling Muhammad Speaks on the corners. One on 125th Street. In fact, do I have one? Let me see something. No, this has now been called the final call. But it's come from the same thing, though. This is as a result of after Malcolm's death. And then Minister Louis Farrakhan came out with this one, and it's called the final call. But they sell these on the corner of 125th Street and other places where the Muslim Brothers or the Nation of Islam congregate. Also, the women were respected. Let me tell you this. When you talk to a sister in the nation and they would walk proudly with their dress and their head wrap, it was a given. I don't care how desperate you were, you would mess with a woman, but if you mess with a Muslim, a woman from the nation, heads would roll. I'm serious. And it actually increased the respect for Black women in the community. None of this was talked about. None of these positive things was talked about in our community. Get us off of drinking. Get us off of eating pork, because I remember when coming up, one of the first things my relatives would tell me is the doctors would tell them they got to stop eating pork. I didn't understand at the time. I understand now why. So I'm not trying to make no judgments about what kind of meat you eat. I'm just saying the impact that Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam had on this community, and actually indirectly and indirectly through this nation too. Okay. So again, Malcolm X was to the north what Martin Luther King was to the south, except we did not turn the other cheek. And why should we? Okay. So anyway, now that's out the way. Let me go to the comment section. All righty. Okay, let's see. Let me go back from the beginning. And I do want to thank all of you very, very much for this. This is all a person with, and he was in the Audubon Ballroom. And at that time, I lived with my parents on 163rd Street. And this happened at the Audubon Ballroom at 167th or 168th Street, literally blocks for me. I could have ran there in a matter of moments. Okay. So anyway, let me do this. Okay. This is from Numerologics. And this is from Anna. Thank you, May 19th. Okay, your birthday. Yes, your birthday's today. So since your birthday's today and it is the 19th, your numbers are the 1, 4, and 9, Anna. And you happen to also be in a 6th personal year, a year that says that has to do with either relationships, health, living space, recognition, environment, whatever the case is, making adjustments. But it simply means to, if nothing else, try to be a person of your word this year. If you say you're going to do something, just don't make what you say just idle. Follow it up with action. Do that. It also indicates whatever your status is too. So if in the case you're not in a relationship, there's a higher than average chance that will improve. You're likely to meet somebody, or if you are with somebody, it's likely to go to the next level. Or if you've been with somebody, they've been working your last nerve, as y'all say sometimes, I would say it's just going to be a matter of a month or two before it goes in a different direction. But nonetheless, your numbers are always the 1, the 4, and the 9. All righty. Okay. All righty. Let me do this. And as Jazz Aphrodite says, please get the thumbs up. All right. Evidently, it has something to do with, and you know, when I have Jazz Aphrodite on Monday and Empress Sherelle on Wednesday, I never ask how many hits and likes. Those are not the numbers I look for. Mine are more esoteric. I would imagine they're good for, impressions and subscriptions and things like that. And notice every time I do my introduction of what the month is, where the moon is and whatnot, I always forget to say, please like, share, and subscribe. So I'm saying it now, and it helps them help me. Okay. And hotep to you too, Corliss. chorus, I should say. All righty. So let me see what we got here. And this is my buddy here from a far distance. And okay. And to go to the dark symbol, it says happy solar return in the ancestor realm to Malcolm X. The man was very influential in Harlem. Traffic couldn't get through. I'm telling you, when he stood on the corner of 116th or 125th Street, traffic could not go through. I mean, it could go through, but it would go through slowly because there'd be so many people in there congregating the corner. And this was before the internet. This is before all these things that we now take for granted. We have instant access. It was none of that. All he had was the microphone and the power of his words and the truth of his convictions and the way we were treated, which was very inhumanely. And yet we built this nation. You think that alone we get some respect. And so it was Martin Luther King, and it was Malcolm X, and it was Marcus Garvey and Medgar Evers, and a whole lot more that came before and after them that you don't know about, that set the tone to add dignity to what we do. We're the greatest people on the planet. That's my attitude, and we can prove it too. So anyway, okay. Good evening. Yep, peace and blessings. Okay. And Go-To said they're 41 life path too. Now, let me tell you about this life path or destiny. It simply means this is the journey while you're on in this existence. These numbers go from 1 to 9, and then there are other numbers such as 11 and 22. I've yet to see a number that goes to 33. Whenever you add the month, the day, and the year, I'm going to experiment with that. I'm thinking about maybe 8, 18, 8, 8, 1888, 8, 16, 24, 36. No, that would be too many. But maybe, just maybe, there was a year where the month, the day, and the year add up to the master number 33. And it is very rare to have a master number year, 2 master numbers in a birthday. So let's say you got a person that's born on the 11th, and when they add the month, the day, and the year they're born, that adds up to a 22. Normally you have one or the other, but rarely both. And sometimes you might have all 3, where your sign represents one of the master numbers, which is Leo and Aquarius, or you were born on the 11th or the 22nd, or the month, the day, and the year comes out 11 or 22. But those are rare finds. Those are very, very hard to find. But they're out there. They're out there. Okay. All right. And Go-To says exactly. I agree. Exactly. Okay. And I guess you said too, the South did not play. But I think here, in my opinion, coming up as a child under my mother and father and his brothers and whatnot, probably not. That's why a lot of things got accomplished. But to the men up north, we that was light compared to. And I got to take this. It's not to say they were not pushovers or turn the other cheek, but their style of doing was different. That goes really totally opposite to the style of the North. It was just that mindset. And racism was just as bad here in the North as it was in the South. There was just a little bit more sophistication. Same thing. Okay? Same thing. That's why Malcolm X called the Democrats the Dixiecrats, because he knew exactly what was happening with this. All righty. So anyway, okay. So Stephen, hey man, how you doing? How's Mrs. Williams? Carol, please give her my best, okay? This is an herb man, a Capricorn, January, and he's born in the year of the dragon. That's interesting. Yeah, if you're born in 1976. Now here's what's interesting to me, Herb. You might say you're a dragon. Check that. You might be born the sign before that. The reason why I say that is in Chinese astrology, it always takes the change of the signs, the animal signs in Chinese astrology always take place in the sign of Aquarius. You're in the sign of Capricorn. It always takes place in a new moon, not unless on January the 19th of that year you were born, it happened to be in a new moon that day or something like that. So that means you could be a dragon or something else like that. But just double check that. I mean, people just say, okay, I'm a dragon. But if you're born in January up until about early, middle February, you may not be a dragon yet. Because again, the key is always, without exceptions, I don't know why, But in Chinese astrology, when the sign changes, always in the sign of Aquarius under a new moon, which means when the moon and the sun are in the same sign of Aquarius at the same time. All righty. And anyway, you got a Leo moon and a Scorpio rising. So no joke. You got fire and water. So actually, this is the same day, birthday as John H. Johnson, that founded Johnson's Publications, Jet Magazine, things like that. So it tells me you will be a very enterprising person. It tells me you're in a transitional year this year. It tells me your key numbers are the 1, 4, and 8, and that Sunday followed by Saturday and a minor way Tuesday would be your best days in which to carry out your plan. And this particular year, you're going through, I take it a master number 11 personal year, just to be sure. A second. Come on, pen. Why you want to work? Okay. 119. Okay, that's 5. Yeah, you happen to be in the master number 11 personal year, not a 2. So that means you've come in this life in a very highly evolved manner. And all you have to do is take advantage of it. And since 1's a leadership number, you should do very, very well. Okay. But to her, thank you so much. Peacefully evolving, blissfully evolving. Peace to you too. And this is a special lady all the time, melanated 8. Normally she's the first out the gate, but even if not, at some point, I don't mean to spoil her, put her on pressure on her, but I can almost guarantee you 9 times out of 10, she's always showing some kind of love and recognition to the Live with Lloyd family, for which I thank her. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yes, it is an interesting insight on Malcolm X. And I would say you should look at the documentaries. I've got, I've showed you about 2, 4, 6, 8 books. I got about 6 or 7 more books I haven't showed you, but I didn't want to, kind of go overboard with this. But I'm telling you, it was almost a given that if you lived in New York City, especially in Harlem, where he made his bones and was the minister of Temple number 7 on 116th Street, listen, history, trust me. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, the Spike Lee movie was epic, right? Okay, hey, Goldie, how are you, July 18th? Okay, how's your mom? And as King Simon says, good book. Yep. Yeah, the books would be good to have. It's interesting. When I was living at another location, right? I would get all these Malcolm X tapes because they were selling them by the boatload on 125th Street. Somebody had broke into my car. You know what they took? All of my Malcolm X tapes. They didn't take nothing else. That was the most interesting thing. I swear to you, because I would be able to drive around, put the Malcolm X cassettes in my tape and listen to them when I'm driving around, always, especially around his birthday and assassination day, you know what I'm saying, to show honor to him. But my car was broken into, and the only thing that were missing were all of my Malcolm X tapes. So I was happy. I was saying, they benefit from it. So anyway, okay, Shawam West, hi, lady, how you doing? And racism is pettiness. And let me tell you this. For persons or people who are supposed to be superior, you would think the least they would worry about is people who are so-called inferior. Wouldn't you think? Common sense. If a person is inferior, why would you have to put roadblocks and all kinds of devices and gadgets and gizmos? Why would you have to do that to such an inferior people if you're that superior? And what I'm saying is, in the eyes of God, we are all the same. What is the difference is the mindset of certain people who feel they're better than others. And once they can lower that and drop that temperature down and see that we're all the same, and in some cases even better in that sense, because despite the lack of education, the threats, the hangings, we still survive and we are still here over 400 years. And from the looks of it, I got to be honest, we ain't about to go nowhere, okay? Now, what do? They depend on us for our votes. They depend on us for our monies in the communities so they can move into Black communities and in a couple of years make enough money to refurbish their stores and whatnot. Listen, okay? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, okay. This is, I say, 9 affirmation. They born 11/9, same day as Dorothy Dandridge, right? That's right. It's interesting. Halle Berry, who played Dorothy Dandridge biopic, was also born in the same hospital as Dorothy Dandridge, which is interesting, just a little footnote. But nonetheless, she's a Leo, though. So where she's a water sign with a fire number, Halle Berry is a fire sign, okay? So anyway, for you this year, it tells me you are in a transitional state. So let me do something right quick. That's 11, 9, 20, 25. I want to see if you're in a 2, because if you're in a 2, that means take it easy. But if you're in 11, that tells me something else too. 5, okay. You happen to be in the master number 11 personal year. I think Jazz Aphrodite, who's one of the best at this, can confirm that. So that means this year you should be highly evolved. That's what that tells me. This year, let me just make sure that before I get all excited about this. Okay, 20. This is the only time when I'm looking for a master number. This 5. Yep, you're a master number year. You're master number 11. Yep. So anyway, this is your year to take everything to another level. 2 is already a transitional cycle anyway, dealing with the home, diet, relationships. But this says because it's an 11 and composed of 2 1s, which is a leadership number, Leo numbers, it means that whatever you're doing, you need to take it up a notch, really a big notch, to be honest with you. Why? Because this is a cycle that doesn't come often. This cycle that you're in is like getting your master's degree, taking it to a whole nother level. You done graduated with your BA. Now you're going for the master's to do what you got to do. It's like writing your thesis paper, blah, blah, blah. I hope I'm saying it right, or whatever the case is to get it together. But this is you. All righty. Okay. So anyway, it tells me you don't take no stuff. Men in uniform probably like you. You're known for your brashness and your kind of way that you how to do things, which is upfront, no chaser. You know what I'm saying? Where people think you're rude and whatnot, but you're not rude at all. You're just honest. Okay. Okay. Yes. Can y'all please follow Jazz Aphrodite and put the thumbs up? It don't cost nothing to do that. You know what I'm saying? Thumbs up. Okay. And then even Miss Squeaky says, Miss Squeaky says, please hit the like button. It don't cost you guys nothing. Nothing. I don't get it. It don't cost nothing. Okay, this one person evidently I read said yes. I was able to tell my oldest son that he looked like me. Yeah. Once you know the birthdays, but you got to know your key numbers first. And this is my man here, DS. How you doing, buddy? I talked about you a couple of weeks ago, but now you're in an 8 year, which is a year to make some major moves, to do things on a grand scale, to mature, to reach certain levels. And even now, it tells me this month of May, you kind of like been maybe challenged a little bit, but there's going to be some opportunities breaking for you in about another week and a half. Okay. Your numbers are the 6, 9, and 3. All righty. And yes, we are. We're doing well. And I hope everybody in the Live with Lloyd family is doing very well. All right. Okay. This person here, Cassandra, she was born on the 21st of April. So that means your borderline case. I would say you're more definitely into the Taurus, and the life path is 8. That means from the month, the day, and the year you're born in, you're absolutely right looking at it mentally. Your ascendant is in Taurus. Hold up. You got a Sagittarius rise in Taurus, a rising in Aries, one has got to be the moon and one has got to be Aries. I'm assuming you might say I would say your moon is in Taurus maybe, and your rising is in Aries. I'm a little confused about it, but I'll tell you this though, what be that as it may, you have energies that's very active, very ongoing, very mature. This year, you're in a reflective cycle to do some soul searching, which I call the law of attraction. So attracting what you want through, just being who you are, searching, finding out things and stuff like that. Okay. And this yellow creation for her mom. By the way, your numbers are the 6, 3, and 9. For you, Yellow Soul, the creator, your mom is a very sophisticated Leo, very analytical, always got a mind of her own, like to think for herself. very independent in the way she does things. And this particular year, she is in a 6th cycle, which means your mom is making some adjustments this year too. That's what she's in. She's actually making some adjustments, okay? Now, Izza is Israel, born on October the 7th of 2000, which makes you a Libra 7 person. A lot of famous people are born on your day, but we ain't going to go through all that at this point. But it tells me this is your year to make some power moves. That's exactly what this tells me. This is a year for you to think big, to do big, and expect big. You know what? It's when you act the part, you become the part. This is what actors do. So I guess that's why actors get into role play, and then they become so convincing they believe it. There used to be this actor named Rod Steiger. They said that when he was in the character, he wouldn't get out of character. I understand Jim Carrey did the same thing too. When he was in character, he just stayed in character. And so it just shows you what the mind is capable of. So if you're thinking in acting success, that's exactly will be the outcome, okay? This is interesting. Planning on traveling to the birthland of El-Hajj El-Malik Shabazz mother. That would be, okay, the Honorable Louis Little in Grenada. Is this a good time to travel for me? And your birthday is August the 25th. And so you are in a 6th personal year. But if you were to travel based upon that being in a 6th year, I would say that actually you had an opportunity back in April. Definitely in the month of August, I would say would be a good time for you too. And then from there, after August, I would say October. Yep. August and October. Yep. And by the way, when she's talking about Louise Little, that's the mother. And because he was born Malcolm Little. And so that was his mom and dad. Wow, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Okay. Safe travels. Now, this is Marjorie Boss. She's born March 21st of 82. And her mom is born. Okay, so your key numbers are the 3, 9, and 6. Bam, cut that out the way. Your mother born August 10th. Her numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. So you got 9 is one of your mother's numbers. Your father, his numbers are the 6, the 5, and the 9. So you got 2 of your father's numbers, Marjorie Boss. So more than likely, you may look more like your dad. You'll have similarities because your mother got a 9, your father got a 9, but unlike your mother, you got a 6. Your father got a 6, and your mother does not. Okay, she's a Leo. Your mother's a tough cookie. Or I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you and your mother and father had some disagreements, because she's something else. Not in a bad way, but I got to understand. Your mother is a fire sign with a fire number, and your father is an earth sign with an earth number. So earth means very pragmatic, very grounded, cool, calm, and collected. Your mother got all that fire. She ain't having it. She ain't hearing it. Just my opinion, okay? And you got a fire sign with a fire number too, but yet you got more of your father's numbers. So I'll put it like this. You may look like your father, but looking at this birthday being a fire sign and a fire number, and your mother being a fire sign and a fire number, I'd say your dad might say, girl, you're just like your mama, okay? So that's what I'm saying. Who knows? Anyway, okay, now this is interesting. Your mother and father, this is blessings. Their mother and father was born on October, what time we got here? 6 minutes. Mother and father was born on October the 2nd and 4th, respectively, and they were born on July 23rd. Now, here's the thing. Your mother's numbers are the 2, 7, and 6. Your father's numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. Okay, I think, hold up. I guess you did your father first. So excuse me, your father is a 2, 7, and 6. Your mother is a 4, 1, and 5, and you born July 23rd. Your key numbers are the 4, 5, 1, and 4. So therefore, you have all 3 of your mother's numbers, blessings. I would say you look just like your mother, act like your mother, look like your mother, whatever the case may be. Or if you go to reunions, or if you ask people in general, who look like, girl, you look like your mother, okay? You know, like she spit you out and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. Although they're both Librans, but your father's set of numbers is totally different than your mother's, and your mother's got all of your numbers, okay, in that sense. All righty. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Now, Mama Love, she says her birthday. Oh, your mother is born on September 29th. So her numbers are the 2, 7, and 6. Your father's numbers are the 6, 2, and 7, which is interesting. And you were born on March the 7th, and your numbers are the 7, 2, and 3. So check this out. Again, your mother's numbers are the 2, 7, and 6. Your father's numbers are the 6, 2, and 7. And you are born on a 7, 2, and 3. So I got to be honest. I'd say you waver, especially coming up. One day you looking like this one day you looking like that one. But I would say overall, you would probably have some of the energies more closer to your mother. Not that, you know what I'm saying, but you look like both. It all depends. For example, you go around your dad's family and say you look just like your father. You go around your mother's, they'll say look like that, but actually will exhibit some of those. But whatever it is, you have a strongly marked individuality. That's for sure. Okay, that's for sure. Okay, so let me see. It's getting close. So here's what I want to do. Okay. Yes, thank you very much for the compliment, Yuki. Yuki Komatsuri. Yuki Komatsuri. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, or Konnichiwa. Anyway, yes. Yeah, and you can thank my parents. I was just blessed not to be a knucklehead. Okay, I'd use stronger language, but kids be watching my shows too. So let me go back a second. I want to make sure I have not left anybody out, especially those that made a donation, like Katrina. See, I'd have missed that, Katrina. Greetings to you. You're born May 10th. So happy belated birthday. 9 days ago. Any insight is greatly appreciated. Yes, this year you are about making adjustments for sure. First of all, your numbers are the 1, 4, and 9, just like Malcolm X, whose birthday is celebrated today. So that means you are a pistol, Katrina. You don't take orders well. So if you've been terminated from some jobs or threatened with terminations, it's not because you couldn't perform. It's just you're not going to let no people talk to you in the kind of way they want to and think that's going to fly. You don't care whose mother it is, all right? It does indicate you may have attempted to have your own business, or should. As a child, may have thought about being a lawyer or a doctor or a scientist, or an inventor, or an explorer, or an innovator, or business owner, or entrepreneur, or whatever executive capacity you sought. And it also tells me you wear glasses because your left eye is a little bit weaker than your right eye. Okay. But this year's the year to make adjustments. Fall in love, fall out of love, mend fences, go back to school, improve your health, whatever the case may be. But your key numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Katrina. Okay. And somebody who knows you said happy birthday to you. Belated birthday. Yes, that is true. Okay. Let me see this. I'm going to work backwards a second because I only got a couple of minutes. And I want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody's. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, this is the person I met. She was going into the subway and she had twins, and they were both 11/11. Her daughter was born, one daughter was a Cancer, and the other daughter was, I forget, but I was coming out the subway. They were coming into the subway. And she said she seen me before. Hi, Aubrey. How you doing? Thanks, lady. Let me see something. Okay. I think, folks, I'm going to have to go. What I'm going to do is this will be the last week that I'll take birthdays of your parents, and then I will change the subject because I'm going to have a guest on Monday anyway. Master Nikki. That's going to be my guest on Monday. All right, everybody. I do want to thank y'all. I do want to thank Jazz Aphrodite, too, for being a great moderator. Also, and this is one of my favorite ladies, too, Sister Maya. How you doing? Okay, Virgo 4 lady. No cusp in astrology. I will make sure that what I do is I'll write down all of you who left a message about your parents. And this Wednesday will be the last time I'll do that. So I'll move on so we can change the subject. And as for Goldie Lee, who said she's July 18th, what to look for by the end of May? Well, first of all, when I look at July, which is your 7, which is your personal, you added to the 5th calendar month, that's been a 3. So that means that things are about to go from very busy to kind of restricted or limitation. So it means don't loan no money, try not to borrow no money, pay yourself first, stay within the boundaries, stay within your borders, stay within your lane, and follow a blueprint in case things, and also allow for the unexpected going from late end of May into June. All righty. So everybody, I do want to thank you, and I do have to thank my wonderful moderator, Jazz Aphrodite. But before I do that, let me tell you the sponsors. Okay, let me start at the top. And I'll give one last honor to Minister Malcolm X, who would have been 100 years old today. They did a lot for this, not only the Harlem community, but the nation. And you know what's interesting? They were pitting Malcolm X and Martin Luther King against each other when they bet they were both cool, because they were both earth signs. Okay, both of them were earth signs. Both of their fathers were Garveyites. Both of them went through a name change, because Malcolm X was really, Martin Luther King was really Michael Luther King. And at age 6, his name was changed to Martin. And then when you have Malcolm Little, who became Malcolm X, and then El-Haj El-Malik Shabazz. So life is interesting. Anyway, sponsors you is by U-Juice. Okay. It's a favorite drink. It's cool. Pick the one. The one I like is on the left. That's like out of this world. Go to Live It Store, LIVETSTORE.com. That's LIVETSTORE.com. Also, I want to thank Monique yesterday in Capunia. They had this ice bath. Brother, wasn't getting in no ice water. Okay. I'm looking at y'all do that. God bless you. I'm not doing it. But it's very therapeutic from what they say. But I didn't go there for that. I went there to see y'all or whatever the case is. But I do thank them. They were at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. Also, Miss Kimberly with Manifest on Purpose, her weekly wisdom, and Numerology Reveal podcast that she does. And also she's stretched out by providing an Numerology business so for any of you who want to start a business or already in business but want to take a more metaphysical lens or approach to the business, please reach out to Kimberly, KIMBALEY.com. The consultation is gratis. Okay. If you decide to get anything from her after that, it's all tax deductible anyway. So in about another 20 minutes or so, or 25 minutes or so, join Numerologics with Queen BTV. She is going to be talking about who else other than Malcolm X. So she's going to give her own perspective. And because of her consciousness and about the community, I'm sure she's going to put a very dynamic spin on what is to be. So I thank you all very much. And by the way, also to Jazz Aphrodite, please get her book. It's available audio. She doesn't have that many readable copies, but you should do that and you can purchase on jazzaphrodite.com, and get your copy. Listening on the audio is one thing. Having that book in your hand, you know how sometimes a juicy part, you need to go back and read that page all over again because it was that good. That's the kind of book this is. So try to get the book if you can. People have asked me, Lloyd, what about forming something? So on the 3rd of, what's it, this 3rd or 2nd of June, I think it's, excuse me, it's the 3rd of June, I will be giving an open session. Now, that means you can ask me anything that I think I can answer with some common sense. And I'm only taking a limited account, only the first 10. So this way, because I can't answer many of the people in the comment section, this will give me a 2-hour window to get with you to begin to, and I think this is on, let me see, it's the first Tuesday. Yeah. So it's right there at the bottom, folksies. Okay. So please do that. That will be on Tuesday the 3rd. Okay. Tuesday the 3rd. Click on the QR code, please, right there on the top right of your screen to sign up and join us. But again, the first 10, because if 100 people, it's going to be more than 2 hours. I want to make sure I'm able to answer all the questions that I'm not able to do on a regular 1-hour program. So do that. That will be on the 3rd. So first come, first serve. Also, again, my courses are on sale until the 22nd, I believe. So don't wait till last minute. Get them. These are the only times I really plug it. Really, I think I'm gonna fool y'all and put the full price on there when they got a full price on sale there. And so take advantage of it. You will own it and things of that nature. So it will be good. And also, believe it or not, we're more than a little more than halfway through May, but my monthly newsletter is absolutely free. We do not sell your email list. We don't play that. All righty. And so for those who will get it, you will read it. And if not, if you don't want to, you can also hear the audio version of the book. I mean, of the newsletter. Okay. And that you go to KIMBALEY dot underscore under YouTube. KIMBALEY underscore. All right. So everybody, I think that's it. I do want to thank you very, very much. I will look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. For those who have left their names with the birthdays, I will answer them. And that will be it. I think that's about a week and a half. But it proves my theory, which is why I wanted to test this before I put it in a book. And I would say it works very well. And I want to thank all of you very, very much. And you all have a nice day. And I'll see you in 48 hours. Okay? Bye.